Hey, it's Wednesday, which means what? It means it's time for the Wednesday word. And this week's word is like three, maybe even four-part harmony. There are a lot of components to this week's word. It is a simple word with a whole bunch of complications. So there's dichotomy in this week's word. I'm excited to share it with you. And we're going to go down two different roads on the word. Are you ready for this week's word? I'm excited about it because not only am I going to give you the two different roads you go down, we're going to read from this book right here, If You're Not First, You're Last, from Cardone. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of homework at the end to make sure that you really spend this week. You got to get this word dialed in this week. It's so important in this economy, and it will help set you up for the next economy. Okay, so let's dive into this week's word, which is what? This week's word is advantage. So as always, on the Wednesday word, I'm going to go over the definitions with you. I'm going to go over the etymology and the history of the word. It's how it got to where it's at right now. And then I'm going to read from that book, and then we're going to give you some homework to take with you and plug into your sales and your business and your life. And this one's going to have a tremendous impact, if you do it right, on your sales. So the definition of the word advantage is as follows: a condition or circumstance that puts one in a favorable or superior position. The opportunity to gain something, benefit, or profit. A favorable or desirable circumstance or feature, a benefit. Put in a favorable or more favorable position. So this book, If You're Not First, You're Last, is literally about strategies to take full-on competitive advantage and then dominate in a sector and or market. So let's just talk about you for a moment taking real competitive advantage in your marketplace. So the homework is coming early. What are some things, you just make a list, like what are some things you can do right now to take a competitive advantage in your marketplace? Regardless of what is happening in your business, in your industry, in your sector, what are some specific actions, measurable if possible, that you can take to dominate your sector, to take advantage of a contracting economy in your marketplace? Okay, and I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a way to get into this. What are some things that your competition, the other businesses in your sector, maybe even other people in your company just won't do? In fact, what are some things that your competition literally refuses to do that you can exploit, that you can leverage, that you can take advantage of, that you can use in a way to stand so far out in the marketplace that at the end of the day, you're the only game in town? Additionally, so that's one way of looking at the word advantage. What can you do to take a competitive advantage? But if you're in sales, right, it's the one in the middle. There's a feature of our product, whatever it is that you're selling. Then there is an advantage to the feature, which has a benefit, right? So when you're presenting product, it is so vital to know, or service, it is so vital to know what the advantage is of the feature. So the second exercise I want you to do, oh, is this too basic for you? I'm so sorry. Why don't we just go back and rehash why we do what we do? Because if you want that competitive advantage in your marketplace, you better know what the advantages are of you, your product, and the company you represent, and why you're different and why you're better than everybody else. And then you start doing the things that your competition refuses to do. And what happens? When the dust settles, you're the only game in town. So, list number 2. So we're going to isolate and identify ways we can stand out in the marketplace, separate ourselves from the competition by doing what our competition refuses to do. And then the next thing we want to do is make a list of our products and our services, understanding some of the basic features that come with it, but most importantly, what that advantage is, and then how it benefits the client and benefits them in a way that is different from what the competition says, even if they sell the exact same product. Why? Because fortunately for you and unfortunately for the customer, in a lot of sales environments, it really doesn't take a lot to separate yourself from the competition. In fact, one of the things that I used to not aspire to, but like I had a policy that if somebody came into my company when I was in the auto industry selling cars, if somebody came in to look at something and they were insistent that they saw it somewhere else, that they drove it somewhere else, I would say, hey, listen, I don't know who that person is. I don't know what they did or didn't show you, but I'm not going to trust their performance on my deal. Right? So I would insist and push really, really hard. And 9.999 out of 10 times would get a second demo. And I would show them something every single time that they'd be like, hey, that dude didn't show me that. Okay? Nobody demos my product but me. Because I know it. I can present it. Okay? Right? And I know more about it than anybody else. So nobody else is going to present my product for me, and I'm certainly not going to put my commission and gross profitability on the line on somebody else's demo. So everybody gets a demo. Everybody gets a full feature advantage and benefit presentation, because more often than not, you're going to drop a nugget on that client, and they're going to be like, hey, that guy down the street didn't show me that. They didn't tell me about that feature. Okay? So always demo and re-demo, if you can, your program and your product. Okay? So that's the two angles of advantage. Number one, you taking a competitive advantage in your marketplace. And then number two, making sure that your customer knows all the advantages of you, your company, and the service. You know what's so awesome is that all of that literally just bleeds right into the etymology perfectly. Are you ready? Okay? Advantage means position of being in advance of another. Advantage, meaning profit, superiority. And the word avant, which is what the originating word, avant, it's French, meaning before. Okay, so then I'm going to wrap this up with a quote and a tip and a piece of advice. Grant has a formula for success. He calls it A cubed, or the success formula. And if you were to visualize maybe a pyramid, okay, the base of that is one A, then there's another A over here and another A over there, okay? The base of your pyramid, it's one word, there's three words to it, A cubed, attitude, approach, action. The base of the pyramid that success is built on is your attitude. So if you want a competitive advantage in your marketplace, you got to have the right attitude. If you want to be able to communicate the advantages of your product and the advantages of you and the advantages of your company, you have to have the right attitude. So what does Grant say from this book about that? And I want to share this with you because it's so poignant based on what we're doing right now and where we're going as a globe, as a planet, as a tribe of humans. Okay, listen to this. Are you ready? So important. So just start thinking with, how do I apply what Dave's about to read from Grant's book to me taking a competitive advantage in the marketplace and communicating the advantages of me, my product, and my service to my clients, especially now. You ready? The most dangerous component of a slowdown isn't usually the reality of economic factors. It's the amount of damaging thinking that can infiltrate the marketplace as well as affect the individuals who support and spread such thinking. While bad attitudes never show up on a P&L statement, they always have something to do with the bottom line. Okay, so there's your homework. That's your assignment. How does that quote plug into you? Number one, taking a competitive advantage in the marketplace. And number two, communicating the advantages of doing business with you, your product and service, and your company. Thank you so much for being here. If I can help dial any of this in, feel free to reach out to me. 310-777-0352. My email address, david@grantcardone.com. This has been the Wednesday Word. Remember the words of Grant Cardone. Be great, because nothing else pays. See you next week.